Hi everybody, it's Shellie. Um, this is Sunday, November 7th, I believe. I believe it's November 7th. Or is it November 6th. I'm a day ahead of myself. Time change happened. um, I'm here today. The simple fact is that it was during my church service this morning, and there were a lot of things that just it didn't weigh on my heart, but it really moved and it touched my heart this morning. Um, what I want to say in today's testimonial video I'm hoping and I'm praying that it will shed some light on you, the viewer. Um, I have never really fully discussed my journey or my story with a lot of you. A lot of you have heard bits and pieces of that, and there's good reason for it. But there's also a reason for everything, isn't there? When I began my journey so many years ago, I had no goals, I had no plans, I had no direction in my life. And to sum it up a lot, the things that went on in my private life or in my personal life was transformed a lot throughout the period of 20 years. Um, you get to a certain age, like I said in one of my other testimonials, I'm 39 years old. I have a learning disability, but I do not let that hinder me. I'm extremely independent, and I have an anxiety disorder. So, and I'm not shy about talking about it either, because it's very important to me to talk about it, especially the anxiety or the learning disability, because so many people have um, mental health issues or complications in their own lives. So that is one thing that I'm very passionate about talking about, because everybody everybody has a different mindset. Everybody knows who they are as a human being, hopefully. I pray that you do. And it goes along with my journey, because I feel that sense of giving someone hope. And I've said this a lot recently on Twitter or on Facebook. And it's true. I want to bring a sense of hope into your life, that it's going to be okay and that you can get through this. We're all going to stumble. We're all going to fall in our lives, and we're going to question ourselves, and we're going to question people around us. But as soon as you put complete trust and faith in God, things will work out. You know, some of us have a tendency to worry a lot. I do at times. Yes, I do have a tendency to worry. But it's a kind of worry that I have for those who I really love, or who I'm really invested in, or those who are part of my family, or my true, honest to goodness best friends. Those are the ones who I worry about the most. And that is part of today's testimonial video. And I feel a little tickle in my throat, so I sound a little raspy a little bit. And I'm going to read some things from the very first book that I released independently 3 years ago, to my recent book, An Unexpected Journey. Now, between that period, all the things that I have gone through just in the past 20 years that have led up to now, everything, like I said and before, everything is full circle. You know, my life is happier. Still a lot of changes going on in my life. I have the right people in my life. I've eliminated a lot of excessive baggage, which I've mentioned before. Once you have that assurance and there's a word I'm looking for. I can't, it's not on the top of my head at the moment, but there's a word there for it. You feel that sense of contentment, and you have more harmony in your life. And of course, you're still going to struggle. You're still going to have those challenges. You're still going to have your obstacles and your hard times, because we all do. It's how we live with it, how we deal with it, how we cope with it. And sometimes my coping mechanisms is spending time with God, and I will say that because I do. That's just who I am as an individual. That's who I am as a person. I shut down and I talk to God. And I do talk to him an awful lot. And I have been these days, because there are so many people, not just in my private life, but I see people day to day who need prayer and who need that assurance in their own lives that someone's thinking about them. And I do. I think about people. And I always put others first before my own needs. I've always been that way, and I always will be. So I'm gonna try and fit everything in, make this as short as possible, hopefully. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but sometimes it does. We'll see how it goes. So the Poetry Diaries was the very first book. And throughout the process of writing that book, I went through a lot of mental, physical, and emotional instability in my life. And I did not know the direction I was going into until I started actually writing the actual manuscript, typing it out. And I went through every single poetry entry that I wrote in my journal books, and I composed them and I put them all together in this book. And that's why it was so fitting to title it The Poetry Diaries, because a lot of it is in poetry format. But there's also some introductions there, some things that I felt that I needed to talk about. And this is one of them, part of the book that I'm going to read here right now. And this is from the beginning of the book, of the real introduction. This is part of that chapter. Through a period of time, I blamed the wrong people for my sadness. And those were times that were a complete blur. I remember now, though, and more than ever, subconsciously I remember more, especially when I began putting the book together. It all came down to the moments that I had, the happy moments, the feeling absolute pain moments. But there was also a common thread in mind when it came to writing the book, was loving God and putting complete trust in him. It made sense to me to put him as the forefront in this book. That part's not in here. I added that. But the faith that I had put, that I have in God, it helped me through the trying times that I was going through, the depression and the anxiety, the loneliness and emptiness I was actually struggling with. And I was struggling with that on a day-to-day basis. And that comes through in all of the very first book of the Poetry Diaries. It was the lonely times. It was the happy times. It was the sad times. It was just every moment that I ever had or the experiences that I was having with people around me, because there was so much stress going on in my life. That's where it boiled down to that. Were those moments, and everything that I was going through, I was writing. And it was that's just the way it was happening throughout that for so long. And I couldn't really understand it. I didn't want to understand it. And like I said, I was blaming all the wrong people around me. I wasn't blaming myself, which I should have, because I, I really was. I was pointing a finger at everybody at the time. And when it just finally started to sink in more into who I am as a human being, I realized I was the one to be blamed, because I was hurting everybody around me except for myself, and I was hurting so terribly. I dealt with depression for 3 years until I was actually diagnosed with an anxiety disorder that I didn't even know I had. And I'm saying this because I know a lot of you out there are probably, are most likely dealing with this right now in your own life. And I want to bring you a sense of hope and possibly some closure in your life because of that. And then when it led up to the second book, Taking the Journey Life in Color, it made sense to me that there was a reason why I had to write these books. And it all led up to my current book that's out right now, The Unexpected Journey. Everything that has gone on over the past 20 some years to where I am now is very suiting and very fitting in my life. And all the changes that keep happening. And when I accepted God in my life, I found the closure. I found the peace, and I found that content. But now that everything has come full circle, I am happier. I lived my life so differently than I did before. And I remember years ago, as a teenager, growing up in the church, all the wonderful things that came out of that was helping helping those build homes, and that was for Habitat for Humanity, or all the mission trips that I went on, or the trips, the conventions, the retreats. Those were so much of my upbringing, and I always felt like a sense of renewal because I was helping somebody, and it really came back to light. It came to fruition. This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be giving others that sense of hope, and also, yeah, right. Okay. Moment right there. Also giving to someone who is been through such hardship, someone who has very little, because I have so much, and I want to share that, and I want to be there for someone. And I'm very passionate when it comes to serving and helping those who are veterans. My father is a Vietnam veteran. I'm very invested in helping with those who are in the military, who have been disabled or paralyzed because of Vietnam, or not just Vietnam, but any kind of service that they've done. It means a lot to me to do that, to give back as much as I possibly can. And I do what I can to feed the community of Lake Township through the fish program. That, too, is just something I'm very passionate about. Eventually, I want to get into other work in helping the best I can, and I try. And now I'm going to read this piece from the recent book, An Unexpected Journey. This is going to be a little longer this time, I see. So I just pray that you find that sense of hope and closure in your life through my books and through this series, the Journey Collection. And I'm currently working on my 6th book right now. So there's so many things that I can't wait to share with you, the readers and the viewers and the audience out there. It really means a lot to me that I'm able to do this and be there for you. This is from The Unexpected Journey. Now I can't find the part that I want to read. Yeah, I'm a little goofy this morning. That's, sometimes I get like that. I can't find the part I was going to read. Oh my gosh. Okay, now I found it. I found it. Life is tough. We all know that, right? Sometimes it's so difficult. You want to give up. And it isn't easy. And there are no shortcuts. There really isn't no shortcuts. Questioning ourselves is such a normal part of life, though. All those what ifs, the whys and hows. It's going to happen. There's no end to it, really. The journey is going to happen when you least expect it to. There are going to be missed opportunities. When one door closes, another opens. And no matter how many times you try to figure it out, you will always come back asking yourself all over again those questions all over again. You do. And I can't tell you how to live your life either. No one can. What we do with it, though, is up to us. And let God be in control of it. What are the chances that we don't ever experience a challenge, though? Those life events are going to happen regardless. It will rear its ugly head on you. You'll feel beaten up and betrayed by those you really love, or those who love you. There's going to be drama in your life. There's going to be conflict, but there's also resolution. How we handle it and act on it makes all the difference in the world. I read that specifically because it's in the book trailer that you can actually watch and see on my YouTube channel here. I added that to the book trailer because it really sits true to not just me, but to you out there, the audience. We all have our good and bad days. We all question ourselves and we all question everybody around us. It happens. It really, really does. And it really is up to us how we handle things and how we deal with things and how we cope and how we keep moving forward in our lives. A lot of us don't know where the direction is in our lives. Once you find that direction, it doesn't sit there, but we find that direction and it moves us into other areas of peace and harmony, serenity. I could get into a bunch of spiritual moments that you have, or that one-on-one time that you have with the Lord. Like I said, I have those moments, and I'll always have those moments. I like my privacy. I like having that one-on-one time with God and talking to Him, and that's just who I am as a human being. So wherever you are located or live, know that someone is there for you. And I'm always going to be there for somebody, regardless where you are located or who you live with. Maybe you live alone and you just don't know where to go or who to turn to. And it's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. And if you haven't seen the previous testimonies, I pray that you watch them. And I pray that you find something out of them to help you cope in your own life. I really am appreciative of everybody who continues to watch the testimonial videos. I never thought that I wanted to do this. I felt like I wanted to do it. And I felt a need to do it. Not just for me, but for you out there. And wherever the work week leads you, I pray that God is with you every day this week. And I'll see you all again soon.